Hello everyone, Richard Lewis here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about a recent move that happened. It's about a week ago now in esports, and one that I think is very interesting and may have some wider ramifications for the industry, and that is Azubu bought Hitbox. Now, for those of you that maybe don't know or don't follow this stuff or aren't interested, but you follow my channel for whatever reason, I'm sure you've all heard of Twitch TV. Twitch TV was the first company to really win the battle of the broadcasting platforms when they went up against, owned TV. It used to be Justin TV, if I remember rightly. It became a subsection of that for games, became Twitch. Then it was all Twitch. Then, of course, the big news was Twitch got bought by Amazon for $970 million, while there was other offers from supposedly Facebook and YouTube on the table. YouTube being the bigger bid, but was actually stopped due to monopoly concerns in America. And YouTube were apparently a little bit aggrieved about that. It enabled Amazon to swoop in, get a $970 million deal, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, Twitch have enjoyed such a hugely disproportionate market share when it comes to broadcasting that it's been very hard for any of the lesser companies to really catch up and compete. The organization the company that kind of came closest to doing that was Azubu. But Azubu itself has been, I think it's fair to say this, Sam, an absolute fucking mess, from start to finish. Certainly in its first incarnation, there were a lot of dubious revelations about how it was funded, which it was funded by a group called the Sapinda Group, which did have some people who have at various points been investigated for financial crimes. And in addition to that, people were complaining about things like empty offices that were listed as Azubu offices. We know that they had to take in huge injections of VC. They didn't rebrand, but they did bring in new staff. And ultimately, even though the website's functionality is decent, and they've done some very notable, sizable esports deals, which include an exclusivity deal with Kesper, which I think I broke that story. That was a while ago. Huge amount of money being spent on that. Ultimately, their content plan, their roadmap, it never really lived up to being able to challenge Twitch. And certainly, there were a lot of streamers who went on Azubu with incredible deals, but either didn't get the viewership, possibly because they didn't uphold their end of the deal, might have been streaming Battletoads or whatever, for example. But certainly as well, some streamers just weren't really worth the investment to begin with. And we've talked about Jason Katz on various videos we've done before. Jason Katz, now of PEA, was one of the guys at Azubu who was directly responsible for deciding who got how much, and certainly tended to overestimate the importance of certain talent. So Azubu has been a very checkered company. Now, we see this news story that Azubu buys Hitbox. So let's talk a little bit about Hitbox. Hitbox are based in Austria. Hitbox were even further behind Azubu in the arms race to kind of try and topple and challenge Twitch. They went down a route of funding events to create content, which I think, we've seen Twitch do that. It's a model that can definitely work. They did it with the World Championships, where they partnered up with guys at eFrag, and that was an absolute clusterfuck. But certainly Hitbox have been involved in a few projects to get content, exclusive content on their platform, and buying bidding rights and broadcasting rights. But for one reason or another, it just hasn't worked. And a lot of this is down to people feel comfortable on Twitch. It has a big audience. It's got features that people prefer, being able to say Kappa. I don't know why that's such a big deal, but it certainly is. And Hitbox never really gained any ground. So what started happening was both of these companies were looking to sell at various points. And what makes it super strange is that while Azubu were looking to sell, at one point they were in talks with Blizzard. Blizzard wanted their own streaming platform. This is before they acquired MLG. they were in talks with Blizzard, and that never went ahead. And the reason for that is going to be kind of linked into why Azubu bought Hitbox. But Hitbox were also in talks with people. I think ESL had a little bit of a sniff around. I think they were maybe thinking about buying their own streaming platform to get out from under this issue. And again, that was well before they signed this streaming deal for their ESL Pro League going to YouTube. But basically, both of these companies, the whole idea behind them was when they very quickly realized they would never catch Twitch, it was to sell as soon as possible for as much money as possible. Or, you can't run on venture capital alone. So when Azubu made the announcement to buy Hitbox, this was, not really a shock because people had told me this. I had insiders at Azubu telling me we're going to buy Hitbox, and I just didn't feel comfortable running the story because it seemed so absurd. But I guess on the surface of it, it makes sense. And here's why. And this is also why Blizzard didn't want to get Azubu. They white label their tech. They white label something called Bright Cove, a streaming platform. They don't really own the technology. They don't really have the infrastructure. They've got a website that is effectively a graphical overlay and interface for the Bright Cove technology. Now, Sam, this is where I'll definitely bring you in because, you can explain what Bright Cove is probably in a much better way than I can.
Right, so let me just go to the website to get sure. But as far as I know, Brightcove is basically all the power behind the streaming thing. So I think it even involves the servers. So the high amount of bandwidth, the crazy amount of high quality videos being put through, all goes through Brightcove, and that's what they pay the massive premium for, I guess.
Right, yeah, and that definitely aligns with things that the people in Azubu have told me, which is we hemorrhage cash because short term it's a solution that's cheaper than creating the infrastructure and the tech ourselves, but long term you just bleed out, and this is why they were very keen to sell or certainly acquire some tech. Well, Hitbox, they have their own tech, they develop their own tech, that's where they put their money in. And it's a model that's clearly worked for them because according to this report on VentureBeat, I'll just read it here, it says that the price paid for Hitbox was tens of millions of dollars. And this has been verified by independent sources as well. So this amount of tens of millions of dollars has been verified. Now, you can see what they make of it. And obviously, if you've not gone to VentureBeat before, VentureBeat is a tech website. It says here, Hitbox's development strengths lie in its low cost of operations, technical partner relationships, and internally developed technology such as good transcoding or video conversion. Azubu has a focus on the mobile user experience and monetization technologies. And that's a fairly accurate summary. And again, it pretty much summarizes what I'm saying. Hitbox went for tech, Azubu went for expanding their user base and monetization for people who broadcast on their platform. So Mike McGarvey, who is the CEO of Azubu, said, "We're incredibly excited to welcome the talented Hitbox team into the Azubu esports family. Over the years, Martin's team at Hitbox has designed and developed industry-leading esports streaming and platform technology while developing a passionate and dedicated following of millions of competitive gaming enthusiasts. The synergies between our respective companies create a compelling opportunity to join forces, and I couldn't be more excited about leading both teams moving forward." And again, this is actually one of the little kind of dirty secrets in the industry. There are a lot of people who were tech savvy that would say to me, actually, Hitbox's tech is a little bit more advanced than Twitch's. And again, Sam, I'll bring you in for this. Is that an accurate statement?
I heard that, and I think Hitbox came out with, they announced 4K streaming first, or they announced 30 FPS maybe. One of those they beat Twitch to, I know that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so,
I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty cutting edge. This isn't the issue with Hitbox was always marketing and getting numbers. It was never about the tech side of things. So synergistically, it definitely makes sense. It's a very, good plan. But we're going to get into, on paper, I should say, we're going to get into reasons why maybe it isn't. And you can see here just what it says. I'll just read you the last few paragraphs of this write-up before we move on. And it says that they've experienced a growth. Interestingly enough, Ian Sharp, who I believe had been at EA and a few other big companies, who's brought in a CEO. Ian Sharp has now gone out. I'd be very interested in speaking to him. Ian Sharp was one of the big vocal proponents of Azubu and Azubu's Sapinda funding. Now out of the company, would love to pick his brains. I might get in touch with him, actually. It says here, the company has said that the vast majority of growth in esports is being driven by the millennial demographic, predicted to command the fastest growing share of retail spend through 2020. Furthermore, 76% of esports enthusiasts have indicated that their esports viewership is taking away hours formerly spent watching traditional sports. This has all been verified by various studies, particularly a Newzoo study, which if you want to pay a few $1,000s, you can go and get it for yourself. The net effect of this change in online digital-based viewership is that the esports audience will remain a prime target for global brands via advertising and sponsorships for years to come. So with this in mind, the new Azubu Hitbox organization, I don't know who's going to win, whether it'll be double branded Azubu Hitbox, which is a terrible amalgamations of two terrible names. Hitbox had the issue of being not specific enough. There's lots of things that have been called Hitbox at various points. I think it's a good brand. I just don't think it's strong enough in terms of identity, because I've seen, Hitbox Studios, Hitbox this, Hitbox that. Azubu, an awful name. It was named after, it was the first word Dr. Kim's firstborn child said, apparently. She said, like, Azubu, and that, he thought that'd be a good name for a company. Not feeling that either. Whatever. They probably should, rebrand at this point, because both brands come with their own baggage, but that's a side issue. So the new Azubu Hitbox organization hopes to monetize the 200 million esports fans in innovative new ways, whereas today's advertising represents 70% of revenue, with subscriptions and donations at 15%. The company is targeting innovative new products in affiliate marketing, interactive sponsor-based advertising, virtual goods sales, sponsorships, and in-game betting to close the gap between the revenues of traditional sports and esports. Very
sure that isn't going to go tits up at all.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Got a job going, Hitbox, mate. I saw how much money the last gambling in. I'm in.
Yeah. I'm in until we all go to prison.
Yeah, I'm in until we lose.
But you can see, basically, that just reads like a list of everything that has made money in the last 18 months in esports, right? And we're going to try and amalgamate it into one site. We'll see about that. It says, we're excited by the prospect of extending our global reach with Azubu while integrating with their industry-leading mobile and monetization technologies, which is Martin Klimscher from Hitbox said. Having built an ever-increasing base of avid Hitbox fans over the years, we're excited to leverage our combined strength to combine an even better experience for our viewers and broadcasters through 2017 and beyond. And the Azubu Hitbox combination creates the largest independent broadcaster in the esports market, with the lowest cost technical and service infrastructure and a monthly active user peak of around 20 million in 2016.
Was it though?
Yeah, there were a lot of rumors flying around that these sites were inflating their numbers to make a sale seem more desirable. I don't necessarily give them any credence, and that does get said a lot. But that does
too mean. Should we go to the front page of both these websites right now?
Do you want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Right.
Go ahead.
I'll go Azubu first. Right. How many do you think will be on there? Is it Azubu.com or Azubu.net? I don't even know.
I'll be honest. I don't.
.com. It's .tv. Good branding.
Researched.
Luckily, they own all the URLs anyway, right? So right now, the highest viewer has 1,072. He's a FIFA streamer. I've seen this guy before, actually. He's one of their main earners. I think this guy is. Right. And then the next has 183. Paula Buzz.
Okay.
How you pronounce that? Okay, so and then the other two just have 100 each, right? So let's say 2,000. Be nice. Say about 2,000 at a push.
Okay.
Try Hitbox. Uh-oh.
That doesn't include all the people who just have their friends watching, though, right? One.
Yeah, that's all the viewers.
That's the whole viewers on the website.
All the viewers on the website. There's 1,200 people watching FIFA, 300 people watching League of Legends, and then the next closest is 20.
Okay.
So it's not even 2,000. It's like one more.
Right, okay.
I can't load Hitbox for some reason.
Okay.
Hitbox is timed out.
That tech that we were talking about.
There it is. Hitbox. Oh, it's Hitbox TV as well. There we go.
They all love a bit of TV, mate. They all love a bit of TV.
To be fair, Twitch is twitch.tv as well. I guess I'm used to that.
Yeah, it's the future, dude.
Right, Hitbox has. Ooh, what tournament is this? Alright, they have a Smash tournament going on right now.
Ah, there you go. See, that'll bring in the numbers, right?
I don't know. It doesn't even say how many viewers it has. Right, let me have a look. It has 16. It's
16.
Project M tournament, that's why. Smash Project M, yeah. 18 current viewers.
Okay.
Alright, there was another Dota tournament on that has 850. Not in bad. And then the next is 182, and then 32. So these are pretty similar numbers, basically.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe there's an API we could use.
Hitbox has some more. Hitbox has got a good 3K, actually.
All right. There you go. Hitbox doing well. So anyway, and they also say that they're going to generate new and original content deals and harvest additional revenue and monetization opportunities with interactive advertising overlays, virtual goods sales, and in-game betting and wagering in allowable markets. So don't know how that's going to work. I guess they'll be taking a cut from bets placed using some sort of virtual currency that you can then cash out to real money, I imagine, would be the only way to work, right? But whatever. So I thought all this was interesting. And you're like, well, Richard, yeah, this is this video isn't really going anywhere. We used to a bit of drama and everything else. Well, what came out was a bunch of stories came out from a report in the LA Times by a guy called Paresh Dave. And this was back on January the 9th. And this, it kind of flew under the radar a little bit, which I was very surprised about. It's actually a really, really good article from a journalist who probably doesn't write about esports a lot, but like myself in the past, probably has found the business side of it really compelling. So I'll give you some of the interesting things here. First of all, in this article, and you can tell from the headline, Azubu wasn't funded like most startups, and it may nearly have killed the esports video firm. It confirms that this reliance on the venture capital system, which was literally being drip-fed into them on a monthly basis, which gave them no room for overspend or to combat issues or fight fires as they arose, was putting them on the brink of collapse almost permanently all of the time. And if you think about all the stories we had over the years, it kind of makes sense that was going on, because you remember streamers were saying we've not been paid. Staff members were saying we've not been paid. Other Sapinda-funded esports ventures were disasters like ESGN, which was, funded through Clout, which was funded by Sapinda. Again, I broke that over on Gamers under the name Joe Interzone Edwards, if you ever want to look that article up. But, there definitely was some issues. And one of the main guys behind it is a chap called Lars Windhorst, who is a former German wunderkind, who started his own business at like age 14 or something ridiculous out of his garage. And he is, somehow managed to stay, despite the fact that he's had bankruptcy, failed companies. He had to plead guilty to embezzling money in 2009 from one of his firms. He's and this is a guy who has been pretty flamboyant and open about all of these issues, and still invests in esports and has even been to esports events. In some of the original Azubu launch videos, in fact, Lars Windhorst is in them. But you can see that they say quite clearly that Azubu have had financial problems. And on it goes. There's an interesting little bit where Steve Arnset from Team Liquid comes in, and there's just a quote from him in there about how it's important to be what's the word he uses? Authentic, of course. That's the buzzword at the moment. Authentic for people who are involved in esports. And obviously, we know these organizations have all flirted or worked with Azubu. A lot of the North American team owners, they'll go where they can get the deals. But again, Azubu financial problems. They're having financial problems at the moment. In this article, it says they could no longer afford to pay the money to dual broadcast League of Legends matches, which, fair enough. I don't know how much it was worth anyway, but they were paying $1 million in the past, which I didn't know. I didn't know that League of Legends broadcasting rights were being leveraged at all. I'm sure Twitch must not pay that, because it behooves Riot Games, right? Obviously, with the MLBAM deal, everything's off the table. But they put the bidding rights up to $3 million. And Azubu said, we cannot afford that. So they had to piece the fuck out. It talks a little bit more about how Ian Sharp has left the company. It talks about, Sapinda having this complete influence over Azubu. It confirms what I said about how Activision Blizzard, Yahoo, and Tencent all talked to the company about buying, but walked away from the deals. There's like just a fucking treasure trove of information in here. But the key thing that it's overlooked, and that's what we're going to get to now, is that despite the fact they have bought Hitbox for tens of millions of dollars, Azubu owes chump change all over the shop. They owe people money, small amounts of money by comparison, all over the place. And I got to say, I think it's fucking insane, disgraceful, actually, that a company would do a multi-million-dollar merger without even settling basic low-level debts. And unfortunately, people won't put their name to it. They owe staff back pay. There was a period very recently where staff went months without getting money. And apparently that's been settled almost across the board now, but a few people still have some outstanding money. But more importantly, what has been made public has been some of their ventures that they funded, like tournaments, and streamers simply haven't been paid. If you go to Twitter, you can see here, Nikolai Muller said... has replied to Game On, and this is the Game On tournament, where they say Azubu owes $8,000 in prize money for our tournaments, plus $15,000 in contractually agreed funds, which we planned on using for more events. And if you go through to Game On, what they then say is, we're going to give full information soon. This hasn't happened yet. They haven't spoken up on the story since, not to my knowledge. And they've said that they're going to have to stop having further events as a result of this, because the $8,000 in prize money hasn't gone out to the people that want it, and the $15,000 that they are owed to be able to reinvest in the company and run more events for the benefit of Azubu isn't there. It's not going to turn up. So when I saw these tweets back in December, I went out, I asked a few people that I knew. I talked to the staff and they said, yeah, we've had problems internally getting money. I talked to some other people and some people didn't want to put their names on it, right? And this is the catch-22 you find yourself in, right? And it's such an esports thing. People are owed money and they won't go public about the money that they're owed because they're worried that they won't get paid. So they stay silent. They don't get paid because we all know the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And they don't say anything because they're worried about not getting paid, the situation they're already in. I urge everybody involved in esports, if you are ever owed money for an unacceptable amount of time by any entity, do not sit on these secrets. Do not keep these secrets. Go public, use social media, shame these companies either into admitting they are financially fucking broke, so people will walk away from them and let them wither and die and get them the fuck out of our industry, or two, they will find the money and pay. Silence will never fix this problem. And with that in mind, one organization that has shown me reams of evidence about money that they're owed due to their Azubu deal was Vestigial. Now, if you go to Vestigial, we've got their Azubu page here. They're an organization I didn't really know a lot about, but they were very happy to get in touch with me and let me know and say, definitely tell people that we're owed money. Also owed $8,000 in back pay for meeting streaming agreements that were in their contract. And they have contacted Azubu about this repeatedly. And Azubu haven't given them any satisfactory answers, to the point where they're just like, how can this be happening? How can Azubu be getting a cash injection and doing a merger and not paying us $8,000? And that's the shit that's down Lars Windhorst's fucking sofa. It's ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. So I did find this deal very interesting, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, this is good. This is a great move." No. Let's be clear here. These debts have got to be settled, and I'm highlighting a few in the hope that what's now going to happen is all of the streamers that are owed Azubu money, no matter how far back it goes, I want you all to watch this video. I want people to spread this video, and I want people to start coming out and saying, you know what? Yes, I'm owed money by Azubu. Let's get everybody fucking paid, because this has happened so many times with Azubu as a company, and yet here they are having the nerve to in the LA Times and other publications to say, "Don't worry, guys, we got exciting monetization." Opportunities coming. How about you monetize my fucking bank account with the fucking money that you fucking owe me? How about that? How about that for a monetization opportunity? This is not difficult. This is your model. This is your system. You can't keep delaying paying out this money. And it looks incredibly bad if you go out and do other business. And I'll tell you, people say, oh, Twitch having a monopoly, it's a terrible thing. I'll kick the shit out of Twitch when it's needed. I'll tell them when Twitch is doing wrong. I don't recall any of this shit. Like, Sam, again, I'll leverage your young, juicy, throbbing brain, not my dried up husk. I can't think of a Twitch streamer ever coming out and saying Twitch were chronically late with pay.
Nope.
Not a high profile one. In my experiences, and I'm just a low-level streamer, I stream once in a blue moon, don't have a lot of time, might change that, I don't know. But our money turns up, right?
Yep. Same time every month.
Yeah, without fucking fail. It's there, bang. I've never had any problems. I've got around-the-clock fucking tech support, and I'm a nobody in Twitch terms. And yeah, I can message the people and they can help me. They've even helped me fix problems with my stream that were nothing to do with Twitch, just because I'm a streaming noob. So I got to say, if the first way that if you want to gain ground on Twitch and you want to beat Twitch and you want to take some business away from them and create competition, pay the people that create content for your fucking platform. This isn't rocket science. I might not be a CEO of a company. I might not come from an investment banking background. But I do know this. If you don't pay people that make stuff for you, if you don't pay the people that matter, you're never going to succeed. And unfortunately, your probably is a little bit too big to be taken to court over this. You've got the money. You've got the lawyers. But people should. People should take you to court and hold you accountable, because people shouldn't be waiting months, upwards of 6 months in some instances, to get paid what they're owed. Meanwhile, you're out there doing multi-million-dollar deals. It looks terrible. So I wanted to highlight this. I'm sure, hopefully there aren't that many people, but I know privately that there are. I just want people to come out and let's actually highlight this issue, because now's the time to do it. New CEO who professes to care so much. All right, settle your debts. Let's see how keen you are to do it. So there you go. That's my thoughts on the Azubu Hitbox deal. I guess we'll see if it actually plays out and does good for the industry, or whether it's just two kind of failures kind of leaning on each other. It's like, the way I think about this deal, and this isn't to be disparaging, I like some of the guys over at Hitbox, they'll hate this comparison, but it's like, two friends, like a man and a woman who've been friends all their life, and they get to like 45 and they're like, shall we just get married?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just that old chestnut, mate.
Because we both can't find anyone else. Do you want to
this is it. Should we just
slowly accept it?
Yeah, should we just accept that it's kind of over and just try and, not die alone? Yeah, all right then. Yeah, thanks. Anyway, so there you have it.
Resort. Yeah.
Yeah, sound. So anyway, so there you have it. There's our thoughts on the Azubu Hitbox merger. Hopefully Azubu are going to pay the money they owe. Again, if you owed money, if you don't want to go public about it and you want to get in touch privately, me and Sam will happily, chase it up and get it out there for you. But hopefully there's not too many people. Anyway, thanks a lot. Until next time, take care. See you soon.